part, for a mature anime girl, we are now going to look at a side profile. So very similar to what we've done before, however, this time it's going to be a little bit different shapes that we're going to be utilizing to help her appear to be a little bit thicker. So again, I'm just doing this Clip Studio Paint. You can use any art application, or you can just use paper and pencil, completely up to you. Make sure that your construction lines are very faint, very soft. That way any corrections that need to be made later on are not going to show up in the finished product. So first I'm going to sketch in a small circle. Does not have to be perfect. I'm going to shrink it slightly since I'm trying to match the size of characters beside her. And then from the top of the circle, going to make a little slightly concave line like so for my jawline, like this. And I'm just going for a very simple side profile on the face since this isn't a face tutorial. So we just want it to be known that it's a face. Then I'm going to elongate the back of the head ever so slightly. That way it's a little bit more anatomically correct here, since this is going to be a little bit longer than it is wide, since it sits a little bit past your neck. So now, before I do anything, I'm going to shrink this even further, so it's a little bit more even with my other heads. Next, we're very, very basic spine shape here. This will absolutely get changed as we work, so you really do not need to take this line very seriously. It is very hard to get right on your first go. Next, we'll drop in our shoulders and our collarbone is going to angle slightly down this time. Next, we'll drop in our neckline just up to the collarbone, and then we can control the thickness of our neck from the back here, like so. So just pick whatever thickness looks best to you and for what your character is supposed to look like. From here, we still want to keep the rib cage on this character very thin. So we're going to do something like that. Now, bring this back a little bit. Just because you're always, no matter what, going to be pretty thin from the side here in terms of your rib cage. It's going to be thinner than it is wide. So we've got that. Next, about 1 full head height from this angle down, we're going to put in the hips. I like to put the hips behind the peak of the rib cage, just since the lady is, her spine is curled like this, she's gonna be a little bit more top forward than her hips, but not by far, so you don't want to go too deep here. And I'm going to just mark a basic shape like this. From here, we can actually put in our stomach, which this time I'm going to bring right up to the base, and I'm going to keep it rather round at the bottom. She's carrying a little bit more weight there. She's got a little bit of booch. That could probably be even a little bit bigger than that, like so. Then we want to put in our leg markings here. Again, I'm going to map out where the feet are. Just put in a basic foot shape. Then, at the halfway point here, I'm going to put in a line. We'll put our kneecaps in front of the leg, since the kneecap rests on top of the bone. Then really thick quads here, thickest at the top, followed by thick hamstrings, like so. And we'll put in a little bump for the knee. A concave line. Probably a little too concave. And we'll swoop into big, strong calves before we come back down, attach the foot. Now from this, she's got a thicker butt here, so we're going to follow this line and then really curve in at the very bottom. So we don't want to follow that top one. Curve in like so. And the glute will be resting on top of the quads, or hamstrings like that. Next, we can make sure that the back is the way we want it. Which we don't want this part to be too terribly thin on our mature character. So something like that is fine. From there, I'm just going to put her arms slightly behind her so it's tucked out of the way. And make sure you keep your hand roughly at the same height as your shoulder. Then following this shoulder line, I'm going to drop in my bicep and my tricep, which will connect to the outside line of our forearm. And then for this top part, the pit, I draw it like this. So it'd be kind of like so. That way it kind of drops into the pit. Then we can put in our line like so. That would connect the shoulders, because that will help us keep our chest beneath that line. So for this, I'm just going to put a shape here, just a little line, so I can kind of figure out just how deep her chest is going to go here. Then from there, I'm going to make sort of a teardrop shape. Like so. With the inside of it kind of looking like it connects to the armpit like that. I'm just going to keep it like this. It's a little bit too long. Like so. And I can erase some of this just so you can see it a little bit better. And that is it. So now we'll just throw in the line art. Again, use whatever color you want for whatever project you're working on. For me, I'm just doing a line art here, so I'm just going with black. So put this in, follow this up into the armpit, our shoulder and bicep line, then our head. Again, just real basic side profile here. Into our neck. I will then drop in our legs, starting at the hips. Hamstrings, calves. And the faster you draw your lines in terms of like the actual lines, the smoother they're gonna look. If you go real slow, then it can be a lot harder to get the weight right, but also to keep them smooth. So you can see how it kind of gets bumpy down there. So you don't want that. So fast, accurate lines is definitely the way to go. Next, we'll put in our back and our glutes. Like so. Fill this line out a little bit more. And then our chest. So first, the top part of our chest is not going to move. Then we can put just on like that. And then from there, we can add our stomach. And I guess my foot is like slightly off down here, so it makes it look like she's leaning back on her heels. Still looks that way, but just get this adjusted so it looks like she's actually standing firm. Like so. And there you go. So that completes our look at a mature anime character, and hopefully this is helpful to you. I will see you in the next one.